Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to your reading for the week of January 27th. You have the stork in the child. This is the gilded Lenormand right here. And so those are going to be the first two cards. I would say that if you're not trying to get pregnant, Scorpio, I would be careful. Obviously, if you are too old or can't get pregnant, that part of the message isn't for you. So, again, I don't need to hear how you're 60 and can't get pregnant. Yes, I understand that. This is a general reading. So it can represent something else. It could say that you are pregnant with an idea. You are, kind of birthing a new life or something similar. So, again, take it how it resonates. Yes, I understand that most 60-year-olds can't get pregnant, but, again, take it how it resonates. You have the Lovers, the Eight of Swords, and the Nine of Wands showing up here. So the Lovers could, of course, represent love, coming in for you. You have the Hierophant, the Sun. Again, if you are trying to get pregnant, this reading is definitely very positive. So, for those of you that are, there you go. The Lovers can also represent a choice or a path. Now, we go down to the Eight of Swords to the Nine of Wands, which is like feeling stuck. But then we have the Fool to the Five of Wands. And the Fool can represent taking the risk of looking foolish. And then you have the Five of Wands, which is like conflict and competition. But again, Five of Wands isn't necessarily a bad card. There could be competition in things that you're doing. There's tons of competition on YouTube, but that doesn't stop me from doing YouTube, right? So again, competition is not always a bad thing. And the Lovers could represent you having the option or the choice to start a new journey. And definitely with the stork and the child, I feel that there is clearly something new that is being born in your life. And yes, maybe there's a risk of looking foolish. Most people who do something important in life, people have told them, don't do this because you're going to look like a fool, or they say something very similar. So again, if you're wanting to do something important, I would do it because yeah, there's a risk you'll look foolish, but at the same time, you have the Sun. You have the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords can represent only seeing one way of doing things when there are many. So we have to stay flexible and we have to look for other options if we are feeling stuck in life, or we have to be flexible enough to see that there are other solutions to what we're trying to overcome or what we're trying to do. Again, the Eight of Swords doesn't always have to be a bad thing. You could be trying to improve your business, for example, and things can be going well, but the Eight of Swords can still show up in your reading, and it basically is saying that you could be doing better, but you have to figure out how to do better. So the Eight of Swords is really about looking at other solutions or looking at other ways of doing things. And the interesting thing is that we have the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands says don't give up. So if there's something that you've always wanted, keep pushing, right? But the Nine of Wands is my card of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So I feel it would be an amazing time for experimentation for you here, Scorpio. Again, the Nine of Wands says we have to experiment, try new things, and we have to be willing to fail. We have to be willing to be wrong with the Nine of Wands. And as long as we do that, it's like, maybe the first few things that you try don't work, but when you do find something that works with the Nine of Wands, usually it works really, really well. So, I think that you could be experimenting on your journey or a new journey because, again, this looks like the birth of something new. With the Lovers, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, Seven of Pentacles is a change in direction. So Seven of Pentacles says, is the juice worth the squeeze? He is looking at these Seven Pentacles and he's wondering, should I keep investing in these Pentacles, or is there something better or different that I could do with my life? So I feel a lot of you could be thinking about better or different ways to do things with the Seven of Pentacles. You could also be thinking about a change in direction in love. Like some of you might be in love with a person, or maybe you have met a person, or maybe you have your eyes on a person, and the reading is kind of like saying that you are choosing to enter into love. Like, again, you could be asking the question, would it be worth it for me to date a person, right? It wouldn't be a Scorpio reading now. You have the Tower. So the funny thing is that in your last reading, I'm pretty sure that you had the Tower and the Death card. In this reading, you have the Tower and the Death card. I don't know. You've been getting the Tower with me for a year, all 2024. You got the Tower in every single reading, and now you're still getting the Tower. Obviously, I wouldn't worry too much about it. The Tower is Scorpio, so this could just be your energy. One thing I will say is that I'm not going to sugarcoat it. With the Eight of Swords, The Tower basically says that if you don't get unstuck, you will have a Tower moment. When we're stuck, the whole point of the Tower is that these people have been stuck. They have only been looking at one way of doing things. So they have been building these walls up around them to ignore reality, and now the universe is bringing them down to reality. So sometimes we get stuck doing things one way, like in work and business and everything, but things in life constantly evolve, so we have to go with evolve with the changes. But if we don't, then we'll have a Tower moment. So I would definitely encourage you to innovate in work and business, or anywhere you're feeling stuck. I would encourage experimentation. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Seven of Cups, which you have twice here. Seven of Cups is a card of being spoiled for choice. So there probably are a lot of options for you to get unstuck with this energy. All you have to do is, learn. I think the Hierophant kind of could be your solution here, because the Hierophant is a card of education. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Moth Spirit. It says, appreciate where you are in your journey instead of wishing it were easier or different. You have this new Love card. There you go. It says a new romantic relationship is unfolding that will be deeply meaningful to you. Definitely looks like new love. Again, there's definitely the birth of something new in this reading. Now, again, if you're meeting a new person and you don't want to get pregnant, wrap it before you tap it here, Scorpio, if you catch my drift, because, there's definitely a lot of fertility in this reading, if you catch my drift. And so I would be careful and, don't make those silly decisions, right? That will change your life. Although I will say, if you're looking for a shotgun wedding, then, you have the Hierophant, which could be marriage. And it's like, if you have a little oopsie, then, this could be a person that you marry. But again, I would be careful with this energy for sure. You have the Hierophant, the Fool, and the Seven of Cups. The Hierophant can be marriage. So this doesn't mean that you're going to marry this person today, but it does mean that there is marriage potential if you are meeting a new person. Definitely shows up here. The Hierophant can also represent, really I look at the Hierophant as a card of education, number one. I think with the Tower and the Eight of Swords, self-education, educating yourself on wherever you're stuck or wherever you're trying to grow, and learning new things will help you avoid a Tower moment. The Hierophant is also the bridge between the heavens and the earth, so he communicates with both sides. And, sometimes I feel with the Hierophant that we need to tap in to our higher self or our inner voice or the universe so that we can have a better direction to move in, and that's what I would do with the Hierophant. You have the Fool. The Fool is about taking a leap of faith. Again, I feel I feel that you are taking the risk of looking like a fool, and but again, this risk looks good because we go from here up to the sun, which is happiness. We do go this way down to the Five of Wands, but the Five of Wands is like other people creating conflict. So this could be other people that are telling you, don't take that risk. Don't start that business. Don't start that relationship. Don't do that thing. I always tell people in our lives, they come from two places, fear or love. When people say don't do something, they're coming from fear. I don't listen to fear, period, point blank, plain and simple. I only listen to support. So, I think that you should adopt that as well, and be careful of the people that say don't do this, don't do that, because, I don't think people have negative intentions when they do this. Maybe they're trying to protect us, but really they're coming from a place of fear, and we shouldn't listen to that. So I would take the leap of faith. You have the Seven of Cups. I feel you've been imagining something, or it's like you see something that you want for a long time. The thing with the Seven of Cups is that there are good things and bad things in these cups. And so he is thinking, if I start this journey or if I do this thing with my life, good things and bad things could happen. But it's like, well, that's always true. Good things and bad things can always happen. And we have to take the risk and take the leap of faith to make something better happen. And, I feel like that's what this is saying. It's like saying you need to take the risk of, you need to take the risk on something that you've been dreaming about, because until you do, you have no clue what the outcome is going to be. With the Hierophant, you have the Page of Wands. This could also be you developing a new belief system. The Hierophant is a belief system, and, it's a card of tradition, but it can represent your beliefs. The Page of Wands is like being inspired to move in a new direction. I always say that he's the only kind of like person in the tarot that is he really follows his enthusiasm. He doesn't have any proof that what he's going to do is going to work, kind of like the Fool, but he's excited by a journey, and so he moves in that direction, and then he's pointing towards the sun, basically. So if you are developing a new belief system, whatever it is, this looks like a good thing, basically. With the Fool, you have the Five of Cups. I feel like you're fearing loss too much here, which is not really what the Five of Cups represents, but I read intuitively. And intuitively, I feel like you are looking at an opportunity that is probably the Sun, will probably lead to happiness. And you could be thinking like, oh, if I, take this leap of faith, I'm going to lose everything. Or, I'm going to lose this, that, or, people are going to leave my life, or, whatever it is that you're thinking. And I kind of feel the Five of Cups is saying, like, even if there's only one good reason for you to do something, he needs to focus on what he has, not on what he's lost. So I feel you have, and again, with this card, he also gets the bridge and the castle. So he's not, really, he has a lot more to gain by taking the risk. So I feel like you have a lot more to gain. With the Seven of Cups, you have the King of Wands. I feel this would be a good energy for you to embrace, like being bold, being assertive. The other thing about the King of Wands is he is a visionary. He has visionary ideas. He has futuristic ideas. And so that might be why the Fool and the Five of Wands are coming up here, is because, if your ideas are too visionary, then people aren't going to understand them, and they're going to criticize them. So I feel you have to be bold, assertive, and willing to do things that other people might criticize. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Clean It Up card and this Fates card. This Fates card is one of my favorite cards in this deck. So there is definitely an element of fate, or, kind of like a fated event happening in your life here. It's kind of funny because, again, it's like, I have that whole, like, getting with a new person and getting pregnant thing popping into my head. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here, but I would be careful of that for sure. But I kind of feel that this could be one of those things where it's like there is some sort of fated event happening in a connection, especially in love. But this could also be in business or surrounding one of your dreams with the Seven of Cups. That, there could be kind of like a thing that like almost pushes you into it. It's like, again, I'm just using this as an example. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. But it's kind of like in the old days, someone would accidentally get pregnant and then they would be forced to get married, right? I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm sure someone's going to take it there. What I'm saying is it's almost like where I really don't have a good example, but it's like sometimes I think we do things where it kind of like forces us to have to follow through on something, right? It's like the point of no return. Maybe that's the better word that I'm looking for. It's like sometimes I think like in business, it's like you push where you kind of make it so that you have to follow through. And it's almost like that's the feeling I'm getting on these two cards. It's like you're doing something where you are forcing yourself to have to follow through. I'm a big fan of doing this. I call this effing myself, which sounds wrong. But what I would say is, like, I do this all the time. It's like, I know, like, I have big projects that I want to work on sometimes. And I know that if I don't put myself in a position where I have to finish it, then I'm not going to, because I'm super ADHD, right? And so I do this all the time. And, it really works for me, where it's like I put myself in a position where there is no option other than to complete the project, right? And so that's kind of what I'm talking about here. You have the Ace of Cups, the Death card, and the Five of Wands. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said the Ace of Cups, but you have the Sun here. So, I don't know, the Ace of Cups popped into my head. Definitely could be a love offer. But the Sun is just happiness, joy. I would allow the Sun to be your guide, because the Sun is kind of like a spotlight in a reading. The Sun shines its light on something that we need to pay attention to. You have the Page of Wands, which is telling me that you are feeling guided towards something. Maybe you can't explain it. Usually we can't, because it's just enthusiasm. With the Page of Wands, like, we can't explain why we want to do something, but we feel like it's right. And I feel that's what the Sun is saying. Like, you need to move towards something, like an idea, a project, a Seven of Cups dream, and you need to make it happen. You have the Death card, which is you. Whenever you show up as yourself, puts you in a position of power and strength, really allows you to get what you want from the reading. So I feel this is kind of like confirmation from the universe that you are going on the right path. Your biggest challenge in this reading is definitely the Five of Wands, other people. I don't even think the Tower is even close to the challenge that you are going to be, that you could potentially experience with the Five of Wands. Again, fear and love. I would just pay attention to where people are coming from and just realize that you do not have to listen to the fear side of things. You can choose to only listen to love, even if that means that you are the only one that is giving yourself the message of love, meaning supporting yourself, right? With the Sun, you have the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles I always look at as those first few steps. It's like planting seeds in a direction, taking the steps towards something to make it happen. So I would take those steps. With the Death card, you have the Two of Swords. Definitely a change you probably don't see coming, because the Two of Swords is thinking this or that. Like, she is thinking that a choice that she has to make is either this or that. I look at the Two of Swords as like finding a middle ground. It is, I kind of look at it as a card of mediation, where it's like two sides are coming together. But the Two of Swords says, actually, there is another way. There's this new island behind her, and I always say this is my card of third place solutions, but that's not really what I feel here. I feel more like you are thinking that if you work on a dream or if you take a leap of faith on something, that it's going to go this way or that way, but it's probably just going to go a completely different direction, which is how life works, plain and simple. Like, me being a tarot reader was not part of the plan, right? This was not what I thought I was going to be doing. Obviously, it's turned into that. So I thought I was going to do something else. Obviously, this is what I'm doing now. So again, that's what I mean by the Two of Swords. It's like you're thinking that your life is going to go this way or that way based off a decision, but it's probably going to be something different and probably good as well, because with the Five of Wands, you have the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups, really with the Five of Wands, would say focusing on your own happiness is the answer. These people are celebrating, but they're standing in the real world. So these people still have to deal with the real world issues, challenges, problems, everything. But they are choosing to focus on happiness. And with the Sun, I definitely feel this reading is encouraging you to focus on your own inner happiness. Next, you have this Birds card. It says news, messages. You also have this Flowers card. It says romance and sweetness on it. So there definitely could be love for those of you that want it. It could be something that starts as communication and then kind of develops from there. There could also just be good news. I kind of feel that if you're dealing with something legal, that there could be good news in a legal matter. The Justice card can also represent a return to balance. That's what I'm hearing, at least in my head, with this card. So your life could be feeling more balanced with the Justice card. Justice really is very simple. Justice just says we have to pay attention to cause and effect. We have to double down on the things that are working and get rid of the rest. And if we do that, things will work very well. You have the Strength card. Strength, of course, is about strength and patience. So I feel for a lot of you that you could be very patient at this time, or you are more patient, and this could be something that you have developed over a long period of time. I would also say that based off the astrology, I think collectively we all should be developing our inner strength. This is a card of quieting your inner voice, the voice that tells you you can't do something. And again, I think there's a lot of astrology that kind of gets behind this idea of us needing to really develop the voice that says we can do whatever we set our mind to. And so that's what I would be working on with the Strength card. You have the Knight of Swords. Yeah, something is happening very quickly. Again, like I said, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but Knight of Swords is usually rushing. It's coming up in the good stuff. So, if something develops very quickly, like a relationship, it still could be a good thing. And it's kind of funny because, it's popping up, like maybe you've been telling yourself that you rush into relationships and that you want to take this next relationship slow, but, maybe it just happens fast and whatever. So, but, again, it's coming up in the good stuff. So even though you've told yourself that you want to move slowly, it could still move quickly and still be good. With the Justice card, you have the Nine of Pentacles. Really good. Nine of Pentacles is gratitude and luxury. So with the Nine of Pentacles and the Justice card, this could be a settlement if you're in something legal. But for most of you, I feel that this is you just creating, luxury in your life. With the Strength card, you have the Queen of Cups. Funny enough, I read the Queen of Cups as you. Most people read her as Cancer, which she can be Cancer. She could be any water sign, really. But I've always read her as you. So I feel like this is you kind of developing inner strength, or you kind of following your heart more. Again, the Queen of Cups really follows her intuition and what her heart is telling her to do. So that's what I would do there. With the Knight of Swords, you have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords, most people read as lying, cheating, stealing. But in the good stuff, again, Seven of Swords represents doing something in a different way. Every single fixed sign reading that I do for the past 2 years has been encouraging fixed signs to come up with other ways of doing things. And I know I'm speaking very generally here, but it's like saying that no matter what it is that you are trying to accomplish, if you do your research, you might discover a better way to do things, and it will just make you more successful. You have this Rebellion card. We are in a time of rebellion, Pluto and Aquarius. I mean, definitely. So I think on a personal level, it's a great time to innovate, to go against the grain, to, do the opposite of what everyone else is doing, to be a rebel. We're not talking about in a negative way here. We're not talking about doing illegal things. We're talking about just, doing things differently. Next, you have this Impulsiveness card. Yeah, like I said, there's like a little bit of an impulsive move going on in this reading. It looks good. I would be careful of getting pregnant if I can't say that enough in this reading, but I don't know. There could be like an impulsive love thing that happens here, but it looks good, so there you go. You have this practicality card. Every single reading I did for February had something about like keeping it simple, just doing what works. And I feel that starting now, even though we're not in February yet, we almost are, I would definitely be just do what works. Next, you have this principle card. This is a card, it kind of reminds me of the Hierophant. The Hierophant is a card of morals, kind of, and your belief system. And so, like I said, I think your belief system is changing here about something. You have this endurance card. I feel like your hard work is paying off. You have the strength card. This card is actually the sun in Scorpio as well, by the way. And but there's a lion on it, and you have the strength card. So I feel a lot of you, it's like your endurance is kind of paying off, or like if you have stuck with something for a long time, I feel like you're about to be rewarded. But this looks really good, Scorpio. I like it. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.